After the housing crash of 2007, I started thinking about the sequence of human advancement. It seemed obvious that the global economy had changed significantly, and this would radically shape events going forward. How did we get here? I started going back in time and discovered some amazing parallels between today, the Great Depression, and World War II. Out of curiosity, I looked even further back. What I found was human advancement always came in waves with significant breaks in between. And the peaks of the boom times were always separated by at least 4 generations. For example, the age of discovery, the first and second industrial revolutions, and the recent space digital age. In these periods, you had significant advancement and economic boom times, but each eventually burned out and the good times came to a crashing halt. The whole world then went into financial crisis. And in one way or another, the governments tried to keep the good times rolling by pumping more debt into the system, but ultimately making things worse. The debt kept growing far beyond the point of being a problem. Productivity and wealth creation could not keep up, and the global economy became more and more unstable. One telling symptom of the world's underlying weakness, which the book talks about in detail, is financial inequality. And by the way, this is now at a point where the gap between the rich and the poor hasn't been as large since the Depression era of the 1930s. Unless the economy enters another boom time, and boom times have never come back to back without a period of global conflict in between, growing financial inequality becomes more and more destructive, and it is very hard to reverse without dramatic change. The economic winners are better able to compete, and they just keep winning. However, their numbers get fewer and fewer as time passes. Around the globe, you get this mentality of last man standing. It's basically people scrambling for a piece of pie where the pie is getting smaller and smaller. And it's human nature. How can this not cause chaos? On a worldwide basis, this leads to hotspots popping up everywhere, within nations or between them. The turmoil spreads, dragging a large part of the world into it, resulting on war on a global scale. Not just war, but a period of worldwide total war. It has the effect of wiping the slate clean and causing new structures that ultimately allow for renewed economic growth. It's kind of like resetting the clock. Unfortunately, humans haven't figured out how to reset the clock without this kind of war. When the dust finally settles, the world gets back to work with a new operating code, and prosperity begins to flourish again. In the Crucible of War, I describe how the sequence is played out century after century. Roughly every 4 or 5 generations, the world sees global war as part of the human cycle of advancement. Of course, the question on the table is, how will this sequence play out going forward? Are we at the end of a recent boom period? Most people can sense there are big problems out there. So what's going to happen next? The political structure of the world is changing, and the book details the problems that need solving to again move forward. The Middle East, the world's energy situation, and imbalances caused by globalization on steroids. Can these problems be solved short of total war? History and human nature don't seem to be optimistic about it.